Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Okay. So we have seen that it is something which is ajaha, unborn, then nityaha. Nityaha means not subject to time. The cup is born in time and the cup dies in time. The space is something which is what? Not born in time with cup and not dying in time with cup. Yes? Yes? Right? So it is what we call nityaha. Okay? Now, shashvataha and puranaha. Okay? It is the space when the cup gets very old and it starts getting all the bruise and it starts decaying. What happens to the space? Continues untouched. Right? The body gets old, the body gets ache, the eyesight begins to deteriorate, the mind becomes
Tooth fall out.
tooth fall out, hair becomes grey.
Enough.
And if you think that by discovering Atma, all this is not going to happen, that means, where is your identification?
Here's the cup.
Yeah, you missed the whole point. Right? So therefore, all these decays will happen to your body. Unavoidable. Unavoidable. Only some relationship that when you have healthier mind, your decay will be slightly easier, hopefully. And when you take care of your body, it will be slightly better because you have more awareness. But otherwise you can't avoid it. The mind will have different situations, will bring different reactions. Unavoidable. Unavoidable. And it is necessary, as Anne was saying. Otherwise we'll lose any sense. When somebody comes and tells us, my father passed away, you'll be he 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 he. Right? So therefore, you'll just be, we are not talking about disconnecting with emotional life. What we are talking about is I'm much more than the emotions that I experience. Fact.
But there is a different, because in further time I would really have suffered.
Exactly.
Yeah, and go in this emotion, make it very big. And the drama, and my father is
excellent.
And now it's more okay.
Excellent. Right? Because the very good, Yuta. Because the emotions, without denying them, I give them their right place. They have a place. They have a certain reality. Right? But that total identification that I had, right? It is like the second bird was the only reality for me. That is gone. I understand that there is a higher bird which is free. True.
Yeah.
In light of this, you're right, it gives me a certain composure to understand the relativity of this individuality and do what needs to be done. Very true.
And from outside, people could say, or I experienced, you became hard or heartless. Yeah? Because cold is
Yeah, so that's why I say that it's not total elimination, but the roller coasters become what? This becomes this. Exactly. Right? Exactly. It's true. It does give a lot of capacity to deal with emotions, put them in the right place, and the whole module that he will do on objectivity, which we were going to do, it will show all this, how this whole emotional life you need to take care of, and how using this vision and its growth, you can help yourself to actually make it far more healthier. Okay? But healthier doesn't mean elimination.
But I think it's a very big difference if it's your father to when it's your child. I think then it's not so easy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That the different events will produce different emotions. It's necessary, right? You can't just otherwise, in fact, it's very easy. You just take some drug which will desensitize your emotional centers, and you are a wise person. If it was all about eliminating emotions, all you need is one injection.
Prozac.
Yeah, and then you are fine, you are wise. That's not wisdom, right? So, it's much more than that. Okay? So therefore, now let's say, so therefore it does not, it does not Puranaha, it does not go any decay, and it is also growthless. Okay? So I want to feel the expansion. There is no growth in Atma, because where will it grow? Where will it grow? It's already everywhere. Wherever there is a form, there is Atma. Where will it grow? Where will the space grow? Is this expansion going to do anything to the space? Nothing. This cup wants to feel this big. Then it wants to feel that big. Space, what?
It's indifferent.
Indifferent to it. Right? And there is no scope for growth.
Can we say that the cup is inside the space?
Excellent. The cup, it seems as though, very good. It's the visual appearance is, the space is confined to the cup. The reality is, this cup is in space.
So like we have like red blood cells and white blood cells is also inside our blood. So I think that or as you say, the cup is inside the space. Like kind of the same, also parallel, gleiche Parallele, the same, I don't know.
Okay, so therefore there is no expansion. That your limitless don't wait for a experience of expansion.
No samadhi. No samadhi.
Sorry?
No samadhi.
No samadhi. Vedanta, no samadhi. You don't need samadhi because the experiences don't create realities. Realities are what they are.
do have a question about experience. I don't know if many others have experienced a similar thing. I have had this a couple of times, mostly when waking up in the morning, that the body woke up, so to say, and I opened my eyes, but there was basically everything is normal, but there was no identification there. There was, and then I could observe that something in the mind, like grasped at every part or every experience that was there, and was like checking, okay, is this me, is this me, is this me? It happened really fast, but it was until a kind of identity was re-established, and I don't know how that maybe relates to the teaching.
Okay, no, that's a good, what he's saying is there are a lot of people who have these kind of insights, you know, and those insights are very useful, because what we take for granted, the strength of that experience that we have, which leads to that conclusion, is a little bit shaken by these kind of experiences, which are not normal experiences, right? So that means that it creates this whole thing about, oh my God, I have all these experiences in my normal life where I'm connected to the body, but I have one experience which is different from my other experiences, right? But if that one experience was totally enough for you to understand the whole reality, you will not be sitting in the class and trying to figure out, right? So that means that experience is useful, it gives some insight, it shakes some sense of reality, but it has to be strengthened by knowledge, which is unshakable. Otherwise, what is the weight of one experience, which is something where you find yourself not exactly connected to the body and mind, versus hundreds of experiences that you have where you are connected with the body and mind? Which experience is more valid? One experience or series of experiences that you have had in your life? And why can you say that experience is more valid than all the other experiences? You have no way to prove. The only way to prove it is through knowledge. Unshakable. You reconcile. Right? So experiences do help, but they don't establish reality. Because you have one experience, I have another experience. Which of the experiences is right? Right? So the knowledge is the one which gives clear understanding. Okay? And these experiences one need not go for. If they come, they come. You can't do anything about it. Don't resist it either, because you know by nature experiences come. If I tell you what is going to be your experience 5 minutes from now, can you tell me? You can't tell me. Right? Experience come and go. You don't need to either go for it or avoid it. They'll come and they'll go. What is which is of interest to you is knowledge, which is unshakable by experiences. So when you have the experience of not being connected, or when you have the experience of being connected, in both cases Atma is free. This is knowledge. Okay, so therefore, here he says that it is growthless, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. It is not dying with the death of the body. Okay, now you can say, wow, I'm clear. What I have understood is there are all these objects, which are how many? How many objects are there in the universe? Countless. countless objects, and I am who? The observer of all the objects. And that observer is one, and the objects are how many? Billions. How does that establish non-duality? You have countless objects and you have one observer. How many, if you add up?
Countless.
Countless. So how do you get one? Because the vision of Vedanta is one, not countless. So you still haven't, you thought, oh wow, now I know my true nature. But now the next verse says, you need to know little more about Atma. Okay? So let's see what the next verse has to say. Ashariram sharireshu anavastheshu avasthitam mahantam vibhum atmanam matva dhiraha na shochati. Beautiful. It says, this Atma, the awareness, it is a sharira, means it is free from the characteristic of the body. Okay? So now you have two things. Even with reference to me, there is awareness and then there is body. There is awareness and then there is mind. Right? Mind is an object, body is an object, and awareness is the subject. If the vision is of non-duality, you can't have three. So now you need to reconcile. The body which we, so now this whole category that we have created, subject, the awareness, and objects, which are all the billions and billions of objects in this universe which are constantly changing. Okay. Now let us look at the nature of objects. When we examine the nature of objects, let's come back to this little definition of Satyam and Mithya. Right? What did we define as Satyam? Satyam is that which has an independent existence. What is Mithya? Mithya is that which has dependent existence. Dependent existence does not mean it's unreal or it is of no value. It only means that it has no independent existence. So therefore, the table and wood don't make it into two. It makes it into what? One. Why? Because the table entirely depends upon wood for its existence. When you take out the wood, there is no object called table which remains, provided it's a wooden table. Right? So that means the table is mithya and wood is satyam. So wood plus table does not become two, it becomes what? Remains one. So it is all that is here in terms of the content is the wood. If all that is here is wood, why do we have the name table? Because there is a form, and that form in which the wood appears is different from that form in which the wood appears, which is a chair. And it is different from this wood which becomes what? This is called what? The pillar. So you have different names for different forms. But in terms of substance, how many? If you count the wood, in all this, how many substance? One. Forms are different. Okay. Now, let us look at the objects. The objects of the universe. You take one object, which is the table. The table is nothing but wood. The wood is nothing but atoms. The atoms are nothing but particles. Right? And after particle? Energy. Because it really does not have any tangible forms anymore. Right? So that means the solidness of object totally disappears. It is forms within forms within forms within forms. And where does it all finally collapse? The scientists don't know.
This is where science ends.
This is where science ends.
The black hole, maybe.
Right? They don't know. Okay. So this is where Vedanta walks in. And it says that the world is mithya because it is forms within forms within forms within forms. But what is the building block that is the basis of all the forms within forms within forms within forms? When it comes to it, just after particles and the quarks, which are even further divided, okay, it only remains a concept. There is no tangible object. Okay, and what does any concept depend upon? In order for a concept to exist, what is a precondition? We need what?
Intelligence.
Intelligence. And that in any intelligence depends upon what?
Mind.
Awareness. Can you think of an intelligence without awareness? No. So that means that this whole table, even though it is there, when I inquire into its reality, it has collapsed into awareness. Awareness is all pervading. Awareness I is all pervading, and this object table has collapsed into awareness. My body. As we saw, body is a name. And the body, the name, consists of so many different parts. And that one part, which is a hand, is further divided into different parts. Then into different parts. Ultimately, cells. Then, what about cells? Where do they come from? They depend upon cells. What do cells depend upon?
DNA.
Huh?
DNA.
Molecules, atoms, particles. Even this body collapses and then ultimately a concept. Concept comes from some intelligence, and that intelligence into awareness. My body collapses into awareness, the table collapses into awareness. If my body collapses into awareness, every other body collapses into awareness, because it is of the same atoms and same molecules and same DNA. Even though the DNAs are different, the constitution at the level of atoms and particles is the same. So you have one infinite awareness, and every form collapses into that awareness. It's being a mithya, it collapses into that awareness. Now all the bodies are gone, they collapse into awareness. Now look at the sun and the moon and the stars. What is the sun?
Awareness.
Atoms.
atoms, right? Atoms, then particles, then concepts. Now the sun has collapsed into awareness, the moon has collapsed into awareness, galaxies. The whole object world with all its varied forms, it all is mithya, it has a dependent reality, and it all collapses into awareness, and awareness is what? Satyam, unto which the whole universe collapses, which is mithya. And who are you? Are you a body? Who are you? You are that awareness unto which the whole universe collapses. Advaita. Advaita. The form, the sun, are you physically collapsing it? If you have to experience duality, you have to cut the whole thing. You have to cut the sun, you have to cut the moon, you have to cut the trees, you have to cut the galaxies and collapse it all. Do you need to physically collapse it? You don't need to physically collapse it at all. You just need to collapse it in your understanding, because this is how things are. It's based on reality, not based on your fancies. Okay. So therefore, this awareness is what? Pervading everything, and everything that exists in awareness, it does not have an independent reality from that awareness. It just collapses in awareness. Not physically, literally it collapses. It is what? It comes from the presence of awareness. It is sustained by awareness. It goes back to awareness. While it is coming, while it is sustained, while it goes back, does anything happen to awareness? No. The whole show goes on. Mithya cannot touch Satya. The smallness of the glass, as opposed to this jug, does not do anything to space. It cannot do anything to space. It is free. It is already free. Okay? So therefore, mithya cannot touch Satyam. Mithya being dependent upon Satyam, its smallness or bigness or any characteristic that belongs to mithya cannot touch the Satyam. This is reality. You are that Satyam. And all that is there in this universe is what? You, the awareness in different names and forms. And among all the different forms that exist, you are as though connected to what? One form. One little body and one little mind. Enjoy it.
As much as you can.
As much as you can. Right? And this is what he says, that Mahantam Vibhum Atmanam. Okay? This knowing this reality which is all pervading, the discriminative ones do not grieve. From the standpoint of the vision, where you find only one, and the whole universe depends upon I for its existence, where is the cause for sorrow? There is no second. All that is here is one awareness. In order for you to understand this whole idea, an experience, our experience is given by the Upanishads. It says, because it's unfathomable. What it says is unfathomable. It's just too big. It's difficult to comprehend. So therefore, a very nice experience is talked about, which is your own dream. Every night you go to sleep, and then you go to have a deep sleep, and then you wake up. That when you wake up, it is called dream. And in this dream, what do you create? The whole world, dream world. And what constitutes the dream world? Dream time, dream space,
Objects.
dream objects, dream characters.
Emotion.
Dream emotions,
Even thoughts.
even thoughts. Right? And while dreaming, are you identified with the entire dream world? You are only one character in the dream. Even though the entire dream world is created by you, in that creation, you don't operate as the whole universe is my creation. How do you operate?
As an individual.
As one individual in the dream world, which is separate from you.
Without body.
Yeah. And you have experiences in the dream world. And those experiences, while the dream is going on, they are very real. That's why you can say, they are so real, you can wake up and you can say, oh my God, I had a nightmare. And then you're traumatized. And then for 2 days, the trauma remains. Okay? Everything is happening. All the dream mountain, where does it collapse? In your awareness. Even if you're not awake, even if you're not awake, while in the dream, if a wise person, you had amazing emotion and you were frightened, and you want to go to a wise person who knows the truth of the dream, and you said, oh, I'm suffering from these emotions and this world is too much for me, and the dream guru comes to you, and the dream guru says, why are you frightened? Oh, because this character, I hate this character, I tell you, it gave me such a hard time. And I'm suffering. Okay, this character is there and is giving you experiences, true, but let's go a little bit beyond. I'm talking about dream. And then they said, now look at the dream mountain. Where does it collapse? Is it real? Seems to be away from you, seems to be other than you, but what is it? Where is the creation of this dream mountain? What is the source? Your awareness, your little awareness. The tree, your awareness. The characters, including the character who's giving you a hard time. collapses in your awareness. Your body, a dream body with which you experience all these different emotions, collapses where? In your awareness. There is one awareness which has created this whole dream world, and within this dream world, your connection with one character in the dream. But upon inquiry, even without waking up, while in the dream, you can figure out all that is here is what? One awareness which is appearing as sun, as moon, as trees, as mountains, as characters, as all the other bodies, including my body. Then you are a wise person in the dream. Because you know the truth of the dream. You are no longer fooled by the experience of the dream. You know, everything collapses in one thing. You can enjoy your individuality in the dream.
And you can sleep better.
And then you can sleep better. Right? Come back to the waking world. Same thing. It's not your, what is the difference between the dream world and this world? The dream world is created by who? The experiences that you have during the day are processed and kept in some kind of an unconscious or subconscious mind which projects the dream world. Okay? Now when we say about this whole creation collapses in awareness, it's not in this little mind it collapses. Please, don't think like that. Okay? It collapses in that awareness which is independent of all minds and independent of all the bodies, which is your true nature. Right? So there is a slight difference between a dream world, which is your personal creation, which is something that only you experience, right? And not somebody else. Somebody else doesn't experience your dream world. Whereas this world is experienced by whom? Only by you? It is experienced by all of us equally. But the principle remains the same. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I was just thinking that, but it's possible, I think, to meet someone in the dream. I think it's possible that when I dream something, that I meet someone in the dream and that this someone also experiences this feeling that he or she meets me.
Exactly.
So, for example, I was dreaming a few nights ago, I was dreaming from my cousin. She's dead already. And it was so real. I went with my cousin, I went shopping in a big shopping mall and we were talking. And when I woke up, I was thinking, oh my God, I think I really met her in this place. So it was actually nice because then you have the opportunity to meet again.
Exactly. Right? But the dream cousin was, in terms of your dream, was it you or was it not you?
I think it was me.
Yes.
And also, but also I think it was also her. So
exactly. So that means that there is a form, right? But the form has a source from one thing. Right? So there is, please see that there is some difference. We are not saying, right? But the dream experience can give us an insight into how one thing, without undergoing any change, right? In order for you to create mountain, do you have to become mountain? In order for you to create the sun, do you have to become the sun? No. Without undergoing any change, you create a world which is so real while it is going on. The awareness, without undergoing any change whatsoever, creates all these names and forms. appears through all these names and forms. This is why he says it itself is ashariram, itself is free from shariram, but sharireshu. It is also appearing in and through all the bodies. Don't search for awareness as something other than here. This is answering your question that awareness is something which is appearing in your body, right? But that awareness which is appearing in your body, you take it because it is appearing in your body, you think that you impute on awareness the characteristic of the body and mind, and you suffer from the limitation of the body and mind as your limitation.
But if I look to an object,
Yes.
then the mind and awareness is operating.
Yeah, very good. Okay, when you're observing an object, when you're looking at the tree, what is operating? Very good question. What is operating? Your eyes are operating because you are actually seeing the tree. Then your mind is operating because the signals are going to the brain, right? And then
The intellect also.
the intellect is also operating. Maybe emotions are operating. It creates this whole feeling of well-being. Many things are operating. Okay? But wherever there is mithya, there is what? Satyam as its basis. So awareness is also there. All these other things are changing. This is unchanging. And all these things which are changing, they collapse in awareness. So therefore, what is the relationship? Very good. It seems as though his question is, there is mind and there is awareness.
Yes.
What is the relationship between mind and awareness? We are talking about non-duality.
Yeah, it's one.
It's one, right? So that means the mind is like a form. The thoughts have a form. The thought is mithya, right? But what is the content of that form? What is the content of a thought? Awareness, right? Because you can't have a thought. What is the substance of which the thought is made? It is awareness plus form, like the glass plus form which makes it into cup. So while the mind depends upon awareness for its existence, the awareness is independent of the thought. Even when the thought goes, awareness remains displaced. So what is the relationship? This is a very important thing that you must understand. Vedanta, of course it says you are not it says the body is you, because body cannot exist without awareness, but you are not the body. A is B, but B is not A. Don't try to separate the two, because there are no two. Where will you separate?
They are one but not the same.
Exactly. They are one. One is a form and the other one is a content which is the basis of form, which is never affected by the form. Form doesn't count. Upanishads give an example. Okay? You have Surya did Chandogya Upanishad in France. Okay? You have thousands of golden ornament. Bangles, necklaces, earrings, bracelets, rings, all these different things. When you count the forms, how many things are there? Countless. But if you count the gold, how many things are there? One. The ring collapses into gold. while the ring is there, gold is there. When the ring is gone, the gold is there or not? Is there. This ring is remolded into a earring. Gold is there or not? Is there. Gold is irreplaceable. Being in form, it is free from form. Form, don't try to separate the form from awareness. Form exists in awareness. It collapses in awareness. It's mithya. It exists in awareness, it collapses in awareness. We are not talking about eliminating forms. You don't need to eliminate forms. They'll get eliminated anyway. Wait for 10 years, 15 years.
You don't have to do anything.
You have to, please give up this orientation that you have to do something.
There is a new research on near-death experience, and they were told that even if the brain does not work, they really researched on it, it's not. The people who comes back afterwards are, for example, in an operation or like this, they had a remembering, the chitta is working, where is the nurse does his glasses, or there was an accident outside and such things like this. So that means there must be something more than this form, outside this form, or...
Okay, that's a good question. What she's saying, so up to now, well, that's a good question. That we will maybe we will do, okay, let's do today, then we can do it. Are you all tired now? Too much?
Inspired.
Inspired? Yes, we are very inspired.
We could do later if it's too...
No. Okay. Up to now, we have talked about physical body and subtle body. Sthula Sharira and Sukshma Sharira. Okay. What Yuta is talking about is even when you leave the body, you are not just this one whole, there is some individuality which still remains. Okay. And that individuality which still remains is what we call the causal body. The causal body is Karana Sharira.
This is the part who goes in the next line?
Exactly. This Karana Sharira, what does Karana Sharira mean? It means a causal body. Right? What does causal body mean? What does it constitute of?
The potential.
Very good. The potential to what?
Name and form.
Okay. Potential to take name and form. Perfect. Okay. So that means if you come back to this physical body and subtle body, the logic is why you are in this body and this mind, and why am I in this body and this mind? Why should your mind, your body and mind be different from mine? What accounts for those differences?
Karma.
Causes. And those causes, what are those causes? As Yuta says, your own actions. The results, as I said, when you perform an action, there are two kinds of results. Do you remember? One is the seen result and the other is unseen result. Okay? The seen result is what we call drishta phalam. Immediately a feedback is given to you from the universe about nature of your action. But if it was only one little feedback that was given, you will do all kinds of things because you can always deal with that little feedback that is given to you. So therefore, the laws are even smarter than what you think they are. They said, not only you are going to be given this immediate feedback, there are consequences in the future. But when they will arrive, in what form they arrive, you don't know. So that constitute the unknown variables from your standpoint. But from the standpoint of the order, are they unknown? No, they are not unknown. So therefore, they manifest. So that means everything, every result of your unseen result of your action, the unseen result of your good action is what we call punya. And the unseen result of your inappropriate action is called what? Papa. So that means these punya and papa constitute the causal body, which will then fructify in form of experiences. But in order to have experiences, as Ann says, you need body. You can't have experiences without body. So that's why this physical body and mind that you have is a result of your punya and papa. And every human being is a mixture of punya and papa. There is no human being who is only punya and there is no human being who is only papa. Impossible. We have this whole thing of dividing the whole world. Oh, the poor are unprivileged. Hey, talk to some rich people and you will find out that they are not as privileged as you think they are. They have their own share of worries, they have own share of stress, they have own share of sadness, depression, everything that you can imagine. Okay, so that means this constitutes causal body. And these causes give you one body after the other. But is that all the causal body constitutes of, punya and papa? What else?
Consciousness.
Consciousness is everywhere. Right. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Right? Wherever the causal body is, there is consciousness. Perfect.
So this punya papa is covered prarabdha.
Sorry?
This is punya and papa, which is in causal body, which is
when it manifests with a given physical body, and when that causal gives you a given physical body and a mind, that is what we call prarabdha. Because with that body and mind, you will undergo experiences. Then every day, new experiences will come, unfold in front of you. You have no idea what tomorrow is going to bring. That's why everybody loves to run to an astrologer. Because nobody knows. Nobody knows what tomorrow is going to bring. And that's why 15 years ago, your life was totally different, and if now is different. But 15 years ago, did you know what your life is going to be today? You had no idea.
But there are some psychic people who know.
Yes, but that's why you need that. You need some skills, and it's unfolding. Your whole cause and effect is unfolding. It's unfolding every day. Your prarabdha is unfolding every day, right? And you try to know it, but you don't know it. But when it comes, you have to deal with it, right?
when I have a bad day, like on Wednesday, I had this bad day in the clinic. So it's like the causes brought something up, so that I have to experiencing it.
Exactly.
I
Unpleasant.
have in a way I can relax.
Yeah.
Even though
See, the causes brought it, but as he was saying, that it doesn't then mean that I always have to be passive, because I have a free will
yeah.
to do something about it. Right?
But I no need to be angry.
Even see, you don't want to be angry, but anger comes. It doesn't ask for your permission. If it asked for your permission, it would be very easy. You always say, no, I don't want to. Every emotion, if it asked for your permission, life would be very easy. And it comes whether you want it or not. Right? So we are not trying to stop emotions. What we are trying to do is manage emotions. Right? When it comes, you don't need to be what? Totally identified with it and just operate from it. You can say, yeah, anger, you have come. Welcome. Really. My teacher used to say amazing thing. He says that if you want to really manage fear, what do?
Confront it.
You
Welcome it.
manage fear. You welcome fear. Because otherwise you're always afraid of having the emotion of fear, and you will never be free from fear. When you welcome fear, you have what? You are not afraid of having fear. The fear will lose its capacity to.
There is a saying, it says, what you resist, that exists.
Exactly.
So what, if you always resist fear or sadness or whatever, then it comes automatically.
It comes and it comes
because
and
wants
it
to
rules
be,
you.
Yeah, it wants to be lived out. So
It is. Absolutely. It's a lovely story. There's a little small story. It says that one lady, she says, I want to eat as much as I want, but I don't want to get fat. This is a dream, right? You can eat what you want, as much as you want, but you don't get fat. So then he says, goes to one person and said, okay, you show me a way to do this. And the person says, okay, I have a remedy. She is ecstatic. Wow, you have a solution which will make me eat as much as I want and I will not get fat? Yes, I have a remedy. He said, what do I need to do? He said, very simple. Right? Every time before you eat, you don't think of an elephant. That is too simple. Who thinks of an elephant before eating? Now, every time I eat, I should not think of what? Elephant. So, whatever you want to avoid the most, it keeps coming every time, because you have to keep on reminding yourself, I don't want this, I don't want this. That means what? It's coming in your awareness all the time. So what if fear comes? So what? Fear comes. Okay, welcome it. Look into it if you can.
But I don't have to run away.
You don't have to run away. Neither you have to run away from fear, nor you have to let fear dictate you.
Just
Okay.
watch it.
Watch it, and when it comes to your free will, it comes to your action, right? Use your free will and do what needs to be done. This is what we call centering, mastery. We are not trying to control emotions. Emotions cannot be controlled. You don't know what your emotions are going to come in your life. How are you going to control it? But emotions, because you cannot control it, doesn't mean that you let them rule you. You need to manage it wisely. This is what we call intelligent living. Right? So now this causal body is all these punya and papa, but along with this punya and papa there is one more thing.
Somebody who has to bring it together.
That is Ishvara. That
Okay.
we will see. That we will see. That is yet to come.
Is Vasana the same as Papa?
So that Vasana is nowhere appearing in Vedanta Shastra. So therefore you have to ask the person who is giving you the word Vasana, because I don't know what they mean when they give the word Vasana. No idea.
I asked her
Yeah.
to this same question.
It doesn't appear
No.
anywhere. So when they use it, they have to explain to you. It's not, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
fair
it's
that I try to understand what they are saying without ever meeting them and then try to explain.
Something to understand the scientific of this karma things. Is this astrology?
Sorry?
So the people who are, do scientific on this, yeah, is this the outcome? Is the astrology? So
I see
is
what
this
you mean. Okay,
the
now I
whole
see.
which is over this, and then they can they understand the rules and what is.
Astrology is an interesting topic. I will talk about it in the evening, how it works, right? Because a lot of people ask me this question that what does astrology do? Astrology looks at the position of the sun and the moon and the Jupiter and Venus and all that and tries to predict what is going to happen to you, right, in your life. So people very commonly ask this question, how does star rule me? Does my prarabdha punya papa rule me or the star rules me? Right? So you need to answer this question. So it requires some thinking about it. So I will answer this question. This is not really what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about causal body, right? And what it constitutes.
When you say vasanas is not found in the scriptures, how is it with samskaras as well?
Samskara is found.
But isn't it
Samskara
almost
is found. Samskara word is appearing. Samskara is appearing. Samskara is appearing as that when you are born with a given body and mind, because of that prarabdha karma, you come with a certain disposition of the mind. That is called samskaras. So your configuration of your subtle mind is different from hers. Your skills are different. Your emotional makeup is different, right? That is what we call samskaras. That subtle body comes with a unique configuration which is different from somebody else's configuration. This is called samskara.
We have to finish.
Yes.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the third fact.
Yes,
Yeah,
we are still
I'm
looking for the third factor.
Yes.
And what is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is in this causal? What is this?
Punya papa, which is the unseen result of good actions and inappropriate actions which are carried forward, and what else is constituting the causal body. The ignorance about the nature of I.
Oh, Shakti.
This is Shakti with reference to Maya, but with reference to Jiva, it is avidya. So that means that if I leave from this world not knowing, right, that I am that awareness, but if I continue to think that I am this body and mind, and I am, as Surya was saying, this I sense not only constitutes what? Your identification with the body, different functions of your subtle body, and also the sense of doership. I am the doer. Right? When you say I am the doer and I'm doing things for what? For enjoying. Then when I do, I accrue what results? Seen and unseen result. And I'm caught in this cycle of birth and death indefinitely. This is because the causal body, because the ignorance that I am, only this much remains, the account goes on and on and on and on. Because in one life you come to exhaust some karma, but are you just experiencing the result of every action? No. You are constantly acting. So what are you doing? You are accumulating new karma. So you are spending some and you are earning some more. And that keeps you going in the wheel of samsara. The only way to get out is to understand I'm not an individual. Remove that ignorance. When you remove that ignorance, the whole thing collapses. Because you no longer you say, I'm the doer. Who are you? You are the awareness which is the basis of the whole universe. Then, when the ignorance is removed, all the subsequent things, what does it happen?
Collapses.
Collapses. This is what we call moksha. Until you address the ignorance, this whole thing will continue. That's why knowing this reality in this life is important. Otherwise you remain with your ignorance and you continue the error.
If I remove the ignorance and I'm dying, and I still have some leftovers from punyas and papas which I have not exhausted, but I'm dying and I don't have the ignorance. So in the causal body there is...
The causal body will collapse. You don't need, because the causal body itself is, the punya papa is there because of the ignorance. Because you think I'm an individual who's performing actions. When that ignorance goes, the whole thing collapses.
Even if I don't have exhausted everything?
No, because it's impossible to exhaust everything. Because there are cycles and cycles and cycles of creation and you have billions of karma in your account. You physically cannot exhaust all your karma. Because by the time you exhaust some karma, you also accumulate new karmas. So it's impossible. The only way, the only solution is to know the reality. This is the only way to get out of this whole cycle. This is why we say knowledge of reality is so important. And that's why Nachiketa chose it. Vidya and avidya, two different things. Enough for today. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.